Welcome back. Full Program Golf, episode 8. Today we're going to be speaking about Gleneagles, one of the big resorts in Scotland. Let's get right into it. Stephen.
Hello, Josh.
How are you doing?
Very good, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been another nice week.
It's been hot in London, almost too hot.
Yeah, but let's not be another set of people who start complaining when the sun comes out, complaining when it rains. Yes, at night you get a little bit less sleep in the heat, but it's beautiful.
I'm just pro aircon in residential London homes. I think that's a movement that needs to happen. The rest of Europe have got it sorted. You set yourself on just a nice 19, 20, close your windows up. Good night's sleep, Eddie.
Yeah, it would be nice, isn't it? But
you're in a new build as well, so this must get hot.
Well, it's not the coolest place. In my last flat, they actually had what they called aircon, but basically it was just a fan that just
bellowed.
Yeah, just bellowed and sent around all the hot air, so it was actually hotter. But it's not a warm enough country, is it, to warrant building home? Because you think about the continent. Yeah, the continent. They don't build homes to keep heat in. They build them to let it out, whereas obviously we build them to keep it in. Obviously, real big structural guys now. So it's just we're meant to be warmer because it's cold.
Yeah, well, I said it's only going to last another couple of days, and then we'll be into autumn, winter.
Yeah, into the darkness again.
Yeah. How's the golf game been?
It's been a bit hit and miss, actually. As I said pretty early on in the episodes, I've committed to a practice plan, a lesson plan, with my coach, Sammy Truman. Shout out to the boy. And you know what? I'm going to be his masterpiece. I'm going to be his...
Not his European Tour players, not his...
LET Tour.
No. Josh Conlon.
Me.
Yeah.
He's gone from me. If you've seen any of the swings that I've had, I really do like to come over the top of that golf ball. Ooh, cast it. And I hate it. We're moving the right way. Let's not get carried away and say we're away from it just yet. But we're moving in the right way. We've got a really good project going. What the first few pieces was a bit more of a stack and tilt type vibe. Get that weight on the left side. I get stuck behind it. We're not going to go into it too much. It's pretty boring. Unless you're really into it, then drop me a message. I'll talk you through it offline. But now we're back into a more conventional setup, which means I'm dropping back into some old habits that we're eking out. And, we've got some good time on the range. Got some more time to be able to go on the range, which is always nice.
Yeah.
It'll be ready for next week.
What's happening next week?
What's happening next week? So you might see on my top, I've got JC number 8. It's actually the wrong number for Will Powell and Jack Bishop. Poor captain, say again. And then our RMS Ryder Cup and the stars that we've won it as Team UK. So we do, as you well know, being captain this year, we do a Ryder Cup at RMS. Shout out to the club again. We've already said it's the best place, best club in the world. And we stand by it. We do a Ryder Cup. It's kind of Ryder Cup, but it's UKs versus internationals. 12v12 full sessions, foursomes 4-ball, singles over 3 days. Lots of other good stuff comes around it. And that is next week. And it's one of the few weekends, I'd say, where you can pin down 24 blokes a year in advance
for 3 days straight. And we basically do it on the same weekend. What it's second or third. It's just like, that is the weekend. And what's been good to see is, so this is year 6? 5, 6, we're in that realm, and we had to fight to make it happen in the first couple of years because we require a lot of tee times, a lot of sessions, and the club were like, so we kind of found our way around it, but it wasn't that easy. Whereas now, finally, the red carpet has been rolled out, and so we've got everything booked, all the dinners in, the kit is in, embroidered. And we're closing in and ready to go. And it's so funny who comes out of the woodwork with just a little Thursday night down the club trying to get the game in order. I said it's funny, we play this weekend and it's just playing with the same people we play with virtually all year, but never do we have pressure like it through the rest of it? It doesn't matter how much money, doesn't matter what holiday trophy. You could trade it all in to have a good week in the RMS Ryder Cup.
100%, absolutely. It's the major. It's the biggest comp of our year.
Fact.
There's not going to be any pressure like it. The rookies won't understand the pressure. A bit like the Ryder Cup. You don't think it's going to be that big a deal until you stand on that first tee. Obviously, as you know, as the captain, you're going to have some nice little tricks up the sleeve. And it really does go down on the resume. If you're a past-winning captain, I'm able to say that, thank you. But others can't. And that should, I hope, eat away at them.
Yes, I'm obviously desperate to win it next week, but I feel good about the preparation we put in. As I said, it's always about trying to one-up the year before. Like, it's just become this snowball, bigger and bigger beast, and I think we've taken good step to, again, the quality of it. And where, like, someone's got to really start thinking out the box, I think. I think we've tied up a couple of, like, obvious ones that were kind of needing to be done. But, yeah, God, hope it goes well.
Yeah, well, as we record, this time next week, I would imagine session 1 will be complete and things will be taking picture. So, best of luck to Team UK.
Best of luck to Team UK.
So let's talk about the Olympics.
Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to go.
You know, the next, it felt like a fifth major, actually. I actually had made a couple of remarks to people.
Is this a little back down coming?
It's going to be a little back down,
yeah. I like that. Honest man.
Yeah, a couple of remarks. You know, it's not a big thing, is it? You know, it's Olympic golf. It's a bit crap. And actually, I think Rio was a bit crap, and I think Tokyo was a bit crap.
I agree, and I think I said the fact it was, you know, in an old Ryder Cup course, an old French Open course, it brought a bit more history to it. You know, there was some familiarity there, which is nice.
100%. It's nice knowing what they're playing. It's nice that it's a proper golf course.
Great tournament golf course.
Love Le Golf National.
Like, as in, I struggle to think of as good a pro tournament golf course, just from a, you know, the finish with the water, the gettable holes. Like, it was good.
It's mega, yeah. Track. It's actually somewhere I've never got to myself.
No, I mean,
it's on the list, isn't it? You know, I'm sure we'll be covering it on the FPG at some point. Downside.
Yes. So I really struggled to watch it, and I wanted to watch it. I obviously kept up to date with it, knew what the scores were, kind of at the end of each day, watched the highlights. But as a non-Discovery Plus owner, subscriber, and an unwilling to become one,
fine.
I didn't get to see that much. I know the Beeb threw it up, I think, on the back nine on Sunday. But yeah, bit of a shame, really, from where I'm sat, because I really wanted to kind of drink it all in and didn't really get that much of it, unfortunately.
Fair enough. So I am a subscriber, but purely because it used to be BT Sport, Champions League. Obviously, aspirations Sheffield Wednesday being there in just a couple of years.
Discovery Plus is what BT Sport was.
BT Sport then went to TNT, and then TNT is now housed within Discovery.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So, well, that's my understanding as a BT log owner.
Yeah,
is that I have access to Discovery Plus as a result of that. So, managed to catch it. I thought the golf was brilliant, actually. The coverage was good if you could get access to it, but again, the access is the problem. I did not see the Rahm meltdown coming.
No, nor did I. Just before we actually dive
you
into...
literally didn't.
Yeah, literally. It was back nine on Sunday. So to be fair, of all of it, I actually did see it. Question just before diving into some of the performances is, there was a merch tent.
Has to be, really, doesn't there?
So I had a friend that went, and I've been meaning to ask, and I should have done it before the pod, but I asked him before he was going, I was like, do you reckon they've got merch? And we're like, what would it even be? Would you buy team merch? But then there's so many teams, like, you know.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd have to, if there is a merch tent, I would anticipate it has to be team merch.
Yeah. I agree.
It's a great question.
Would you want a Great British Golf Polo done by Adidas? Probably not, but like Jay Lindenberg stuff by the US was nice.
It was nice. I wouldn't buy it because I'm obviously not from the US.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what was absolutely horrific? And it was honestly just like kill yourself stuff. Jason Day in his Asics Australian kit. I mean, and he had the visor on.
Well,
Wow.
Woozy did it as well. He was in it and rolling around in the gold all week. And yeah, I mean, if you're a Aussie, quite funny. You just obviously wouldn't wear those colours, but yeah, it was out there, wasn't it?
Absolutely horrendous. I didn't really like the Japanese kit as well that Matsuyama was in, but with the little like white sleeve and then red all over.
I mean, none of it. Like I said, I thought the US kit was nice, to be fair. But obviously, you're not buying anything other than your home country. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, getting into the golf, Rahm's meltdown was pretty serious, wasn't it?
Yep.
And you could tell he was gutted when he finished. But what a back nine on Sunday by Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, so a couple of things to pick up on that, really. So Rahm, having won on Live the week before, I expected him to close it out because he's just won, and he actually had a wobble on Live. Tyrrell Hatton missed a tough 6-footer on the 18th to not go to a playoff. So he's nearly thrown away 2 tournaments back to back. But having got over the line, I thought he'd close it out. But wow, yeah. For me, it's the bottle to be world number 1. Go into the Olympics when you're world number 1. In 4 years' time, he can't be expecting to be world number 1. If he is, then we'll be really doing some comparisons with the big cat.
The big cat.
But to go in there, number 1. Have you seen all the pictures as well with the boards? It's like, what are you looking for this week? And everyone's like, medal, gold, whatever. And Scotty's was just to have fun. I was like, that's bollocks, firstly, but like it. And then you've gone and got gold. So, to be able to back up being world number 1 at a time of the Olympics and winning gold, sensational.
Yeah, and I think we obviously had the debate about whose year would you want to have, the Scheffler or Schauffele. I think the medal, to me anyway, the gold medal is starting to feel big.
Yeah,
I think they're all recognising, one, just like how special the Olympics is. The Olympics is class, isn't it? Love it. People just absolutely, dream of this stage, dream of this moment, and the fact it comes around every 4 years. It's all about scarcity. It's why the majors everyone gets tanked up for, because you got 4 goes a year. That's it. So the Olympics get 1 go every 4 years.
Yeah,
and I think you can sense that urgency, and the players are starting to warm to it. And Scotty Scheffler's there, like crying his eyes out when he's on the podium, and so you can see it means something to these guys. And so for him to add that to the year that he's already had, I thought, you're already talking about an all-time year, but I think now it's just in a different galaxy. But what was interesting is I just didn't feel like he got out of third gear at all until that back nine.
Yeah.
And so a friend of ours is on Dentry's bag, and they were paired together on the Sunday. And so I messaged in the group. I was just like, Lee, that must have been just unbelievable to watch that close. And he said that Scheffler, I think, missed the putt on 9, goes over to his tour bag and just belts it off camera with his putter. And then after that, I didn't miss. Tommy, so good and so close. And it was the bogey off the back of 17, wasn't it?
Terrible.
Oh, God.
As in, he could have putted it close.
Oh,
that was just
God.
Horrific.
Because 18 was just so tough.
18's a hard hole. He played it well enough. He made a 4. If he needs a 4, that's fair enough. 17, you can't. Scheffler birdied it from the spot Fleetwood was off the tee.
Yeah.
And he hit a decent second, but through the back, it was an easy chip. Okay, we're sat here. It's an easy chip. Yeah, well, we'll go and play it then. But we're talking at that level.
Yeah.
For those guys, that is an easy chip.
Yeah, no, but great week. And to be honest, he was one of the reasons I was so engaged with it. Was always hovering and played so well. And I think he was obviously upset, but I think he was pretty buzzing to be stood on that podium, which was good to see.
Yeah, love Tommy Fleetwood. Should win more. That's why I'm comparing him with Shane Lowry.
Should win more. I agree. He's still not won in America, is he?
No, lost in the playoff in the Canadian to Nick Taylor.
That was the famous
50-odd footer for Eagle.
Class.
But to get in the playoff, he only parred the par 5 last, which Nick Taylor then eagled in the playoff, and he had a tap in birdie. So he still cocked that up. Again, easy to sit here and say that, but
yeah,
I just want that to be known. You shouldn't even.
I hope he gets one. I feel like just, is it me? But just like on the balance, like I think British golfers don't win as much as they should. Like you think about it, I know Monty won a lot on the European Tour, but he never won a major. Darren Clarke, for all the world, looked like he was never going to win a major. Westwood, no major. I mean, how Westwood didn't win a major, I don't know. Donald, no major when he was that world number one streak. Justin Rose, only one major. Yeah. With that collection, I mean, it's rubbish, isn't it? And then you had Fleetwood to that, you had Till Hatton to that. You think of some just like the random Americans who have picked up.
Brian Harmon picked up an Open.
Yeah, and that just doesn't feel like it happens as often with your British guys.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think as a country in every sport, I know obviously Britain is a culmination of them, but I think you take the football, including it into the golf, we're just bottle merchants, aren't we? We just bottle everything. We bottled the Euros, we bottled the World Cup, we bottled the Euros again, we bottled golf.
There's just not enough Sheffield steel in the blood, is there? Because
exactly.
Matty Fitzpatrick, with the tools that he's gone and got one, hasn't he?
Absolutely has. And you know what? Yorkshire in the medal table in the Olympics would have been 7th at one point last week.
Really?
And in London 2012, we'd have finished 5th on our own. So let's go.
So it's God's county, eh?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I got. Some bottle. Just not enough of us actually do enough to get there. But it was good. It was good. It was a good tournament. Enjoyed watching it. Shout out to Matsuyama. Just missed out on bronze in Rio, in Tokyo.
Yep.
Obviously, home tournament at the time. Sure would have hurt. Nice to see him get on the podium. Great opening round. Phenomenal.
Yep. Agreed. But I mean, to conclude, so where do we go to next? Cool. I tell you what, I'd love to know what golf course it is in LA.
It's got to be LACC, hasn't it?
I mean,
because that's right in the city.
Take your pick, though. I mean, you go to Riviera, LACC. I mean, even you could go further afield than that and probably still claim it. You think London Olympics, we had some stuff in random parts outside the M25.
You seen where they're surfing?
Yeah,
they're surfing in like Tahiti, aren't they?
Well, it's a French colony.
I know it
so
is.
It's quite smart, actually.
I know it is, but it's still
like...
Yeah. We're all going to Paris for the opening ceremony. You're not, pal.
Did you see the picture of the guy who won the men's...
With the whale behind him?
No, that was also very good. But I think the guy... I don't know a huge amount about surfing, but my friend told me it was like he's number one in the world, put down a run which has scored like highest of the year, and to finish it he like came off the board, and it basically is a picture of him. It looks like he's just like levitating. He's like perfectly vertical, and he's just like whatever, and his board's like attached to his ankle and just like flying off of it, and it's just like bang, and it's a still, and I was just like, nice.
That is nice. That is really nice. Just call out, I think caddies should get medals.
I think caddies should get medals as well. Caddies are real people.
Caddies are real people. They should get medals, just like the horses should get medals in the Olympics.
Exactly.
But even bigger, you talk about, you love the Olympics. Yeah, the Olympics is great, and yeah, it's every 4 years. But even bigger than that, starts again today. Up the boys. Championship season. Championship football is back. Let's go, the boys. Sheffield Wednesday are going up this year. You've heard it here first.
Do you know what? Just as we started this podcast a little over however many minutes ago, it was 10, 15 minutes ago, I actually thought we might get through this one with no mention of Sheffield Wednesday. I actually couldn't fathom a reason for you to bring up Sheffield Wednesday this time.
Well, we've got a big game on Plymouth against Plymouth on Sunday. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. I think they're actually being called Argyle now. That's just what they've been. And they were obviously the Plymouth Argyle. But Argyle. Yeah. Yes. It starts today. You've got Blackburn and Derby, and then Preston and Sheffield United. Come on, Preston.
Come on, Preston. Why do we want Preston?
Because they're playing Sheffield United.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Come on, Preston.
Yeah, come on, Preston.
I don't think they'll do it. But it's great to be back. It's really good to be back. It's great to have a good young manager. A great squad this year. We've really invested well. We just made another signing yesterday, £3 million on Ike Ugbo.
Big money.
Fantastic. It was just a star second half of last season on loan. And I'm very excited, but I appreciate that this is not a football podcast, and I will move swiftly on, albeit, wow.
Done it the other way around today, though, haven't we? Dive head first straight into the golf.
Yep.
And then you went, whoa. not so fast.
Well, not quite head first into the golf. We had a little bit of property chat and just like sort of building chat. Then we went into the golf. And then just a quick football outlier, and then
Yeah, so I was just going to say, anything else you want to cover?
No, I think we're good. I think we can move into what is meant to be the podcast.
Okay, perfect. After you.
So we are taking ourselves to a lovely place.
Lovely place.
What a great bloody place. And we're going to Gleneagles. The Gleneagles Resort.
The Gleneagles Resort. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to give a kind of build to how this trip came about and just the thoughts and the feelings going into it. So, dear friend of ours, Oliver Crowther, who grew up in Edinburgh, is familiar with Gleneagles, has been before, has always spoken very highly of it.
He's never mentioned it though, has he?
Yeah, just a couple of times we've had to hear about how great it is. And so he, Crowther, myself, Josh, and our American friend Ryan, we like to stick a trip together, don't we? Like
yes.
we were the original four to go take down South Africa, Cape Town, and the Garden Route, and so yeah, we were kind of looking to load something else in the chamber, and it was Crowther proposed Gleneagles. Now, I obviously know Gleneagles hosted the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
I don't think I could have told you exactly what Gleneagles consisted of outside of the fact that I know it's a hotel, it's in Scotland, and it had the Ryder Cup. But I was open to it because I love going on golf trips with the boys. So Crowther kind of was like, let's do it, here's the weekend. And so I think we went October time. So it was like, not mid-season, kind of on the periphery. And he sent across what it was. So we wanted to do it. So I went on to discover what is there. It's 3 courses, hotel, like everything on site, kind of blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, we're obviously going to go do the full program. So we're going to play all 3 courses. We're going to eat at all the best restaurants. We're going to stay in the hotel. And I was like, absolutely. If we're going to do it properly. So he sent the pricing over for 3 nights, 3 rounds. And I remember seeing it and I messaged you, I think, on the site. Yeah. And I went, this is a lot of money for something that isn't necessarily like right at the top of the bucket list. And I kind of had to sense check it with Josh, just being like, are we going to do this? And
Scotland in October.
Yeah. It could have quite easily just pissed it down for 3 days and been pretty miserable, to be honest.
On that, the weekend before it was shut.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, we kind of like meandered with little persuasion to pulling the trigger. And so, in the chamber it went, and we loaded up to go last October up to Gleneagles. So we flew up, didn't we?
Flew up. I think there is a direct train, actually, from London to one of the nearby train stations, obviously, given it's a train. But no, we flew up and we took on almost the concierge service that they provide from Gleneagles from Glasgow Airport, Edinburgh Airport.
Edinburgh.
I just changed that, eh? Sorry, Gleneagles. From Edinburgh Airport. Inland. That was what threw me. That was what threw me, because normally you fly to Edinburgh, you play East Lothian, you fly to Glasgow, you play like that West Coast. But here was kind of a mishmash of everything.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that gave me kind of like a slight level of apprehension, and I really do trust Crowther's opinion, and so the fact that he said it's class, I was like, okay. One thing that gave me a slight bit of apprehension was I have played the Brabazon, I have been to the Belfry, and, to not mince my words, like, I thought it was pretty crap.
Yep.
And so I was just kind of like hoping, especially for the amount of money it costs, that we weren't going to just like Scotland's Belfry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, understood. Yeah, again, having done the Belfry, it's overpriced and pretty average. So the price wouldn't have meant it's going to be better.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
And typically you get like a resort experience, and it's a resort rather than mega golf. And hosting the Ryder Cup doesn't mean it's going to be great. Look at the Belfry again. We use that same example. I had similar concerns, but again, trusted Crowther's judgment. And before we get into it any further, would just like to say it was a good reason. he has my trust still.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, we're about to dive into it. Like, I think after committing to the fee, Crowther telling us what's what, and then starting to look into it, I did get myself to the point where I was quite excited. And so, yeah, so flew in London to Edinburgh. We get picked up in a minibus, and we're ferried over. It was about 40 minutes from the airport, something like that.
Yep.
And you get there inland, like you said. But I mean, Scotland is beautiful. Like, it's just, the topography of Scotland is class. And so you get there and you feel like you just arrive at like a real old traditional Scottish estate.
Yes.
Super like long drive sweeping up into this kind of grand kind of main building, which I suppose is the hotel. And so just immediately kind of upon arrival on site, it did have a pretty special feeling to it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. You know, there's been quite a bit. I think James Bond Skyfall was filmed in some of those areas, and yeah, as you said, the topography is just magnificent. From the golf course, from driving in, it's beautiful. And yeah, the big manor house again just lends itself to oozing class.
Yeah, and so you know, it's a 5-star hotel.
It really is.
Yeah, and I can't say I've actually stayed in that many hotels kind of throughout my life. Like, you know, going away with family growing up, we'd always be in villas and stuff like that. And then with work and stuff, you're normally in a 4-star, aren't you? Whereas this really felt like what a 5-star experience should be. The welcome, the intro, shown to the rooms, the staff on hand that were just, you know, when someone actually is trying to be helpful and you really feel that. And we had everything planned from kind of, restaurants, tea times, like moving around. There was the shuttle service on the grounds to move you wherever you wanted to go. So I do think from just a hospitality standpoint, Gleneagles get it right. And so like that fee that we were scared of was immediately starting to make sense, and we were starting to feel better about it.
Yeah, definitely. And you arrive, you already know there's the 3 courses you've got to play. You know, we didn't even get on the Wee course, which is that small little one out to the left, between just left of the King's tee off. And then you've also got the like almost another like par 3 course that's in the middle of the area. There's archery, other sort of, if you're not a golfer, they cater to that. They still make it a venue that you have to go to. The spa, the pool.
Yeah, exactly that. I think the demographic that was there was either couples on kind of like, you know, a retreat, an activity spa, hotel retreat, or golfers. And so let's say if you went with your missus and you could keep her occupied easily for a morning or something whilst you just nip around one of the golf courses. Like, yeah, it's a real activity rich environment.
100%. You know, one of my mates, Luke Gorman, shout out, he did exactly that. Nice. He took his missus there for her 30th, I think it was. She's not a golfer. Sent her to the spa, you know, all the works, all that sort of nice stuff, and he managed to sneak himself out.
Nice. So what is it? So I feel like we need to talk about the restaurants as well as the golf, because it is just really part of the whole experience. Now, so we arrived. We didn't play on day 1. What restaurant did we eat in on the first
We're
night?
in the bistro, which essentially is where you have your breakfast.
So that was the beef Wellington night, wasn't it?
Beef Wellington
night.
Yeah. So I thought that as an opening gambit, it was magnificent. I mean, it was a beautiful white tablecloth dinner.
Yeah, I think, you know, someone on a grand piano as well. And so I think I'll reveal at this point, just to give you an idea of kind of how we're going to stack the comments on the food. Gleneagles does have a 2 Michelin star restaurant, the Andrew Farley, which we had, I believe, on the second night. And so we kind of knew that was going to be the main event from a culinary experience standpoint. And so going in the bistro, which I suppose we were looking at as just like a filler. But let me tell you, the bistro was absolutely fantastic. And if we'd had never eaten at Andrew Farley, we would have raved about this meal at the bistro. So yeah, went there. I think, you know, we had a beef Wellington to share, as Josh said, white tablecloth. Great opening first night.
It was brilliant. The wine selection was fantastic. there were some nice gamey bits as well, being out in the Scottish hills. The beef Wellington was a showstopper, actually. And then we meandered into one of the multiple cocktail bars.
Yep.
I think we went into the smaller, sort of more romantic one, you could call, for the four boys, and just kind of sat there and had a few drinks before the next night going into the bigger one.
Yeah. I'm laughing, and I actually just can't tell the story on camera, but we were sat in this booth, and I said it was very much couples in this cocktail bar, and we were definitely the loudest.
Yes.
And definitely having the laddiest of conversations out of the general periphery, and we got a little telling off from this woman who I think was on a date with her better half, or worse off, and when you just get told off like a naughty schoolboy, we just like, oh.
Yeah, it goes one of two ways, doesn't it? You either go quieter or you ramp it up. And I think they caught us at the wrong time where we'd had enough to drink, and it was a case of, no, don't want to listen, actually.
Oh, dear. Anyway, moving swiftly past that.
Yes.
So we kind of turned into our lovely rooms for that night. Rooms were great. Do you think they need to get some double glazing on the windows? Because, October in Scotland is starting to get quite cold and a little bit chilly. But anyway, rooms were great. And then we woke up, and one of the things that Crowther had mentioned as being a real highlight was the daily breakfast buffet.
That buffet was an absolute joke.
Probably the best. I mean, we've obviously just talked buffets at quite a great length, having come back from Turkey all inclusive, but definitely the best breakfast buffet I've ever had. Where does it rank in all-time buffets? I mean, it might take the top spot.
Really, I mean, it's certainly right up there. It had anything you wanted. It had a Bloody Mary station. It had what you'd expect: the hot stuff, the cereals. I mean, I don't want to keep walking through. Everyone knows what a breakfast selection is, right? I don't know why I did that. I think the big thing was the Bloody Mary station was something that caught my eye, because I was like,
they get it.
Yeah, that's a touch above.
Yeah, but it was back. The breakfast happens back in the bistro, so you're back on your white cloth tables, like you're in your golf kit. You're excited to get out there for the first round, and so you fuel yourself up, good and proper, and then we turned onto the golf.
We did indeed, and day one was going to be on the Queen's course. Crowther's self-proclaimed favourite course at Gleneagles.
So we've got Queen's, PGA, Kings. We're obviously going to go through all these. Another reason as to why I was slightly sceptical is, and you've probably got the rankings there, and I'll be interested to hear where Queen's sits. None of the courses are that highly ranked. You've not got a world top 100, and I suppose we wouldn't expect it, but you know what I mean. Like, these three courses, from just looking online, are ranked decently. But I wouldn't really go any further than that.
Yeah, so you've got Queen's at 77 UK and Ireland.
Yeah.
You've got PGA, which was the Ryder Cup course, at 51 in Scotland. So it doesn't even have a UK Ireland ranking.
Not even on the map.
And then you look at Kings at 38 UK Ireland.
Which is decent.
Yeah, that is a good ranking. But yeah, exactly. For the price point, you're looking here, and you think about the price point, I compare it to Abandon Dunes price point, which has 5 of the world's top 100.
Yeah.
It's not a dissimilar price point.
Right.
Yes, you're looking at the experience in the 5-star hotel and other things that they have, but from those rankings alone, yes, you'd be expecting something different. But can we just say the golf is fantastic?
Yeah. So I think that is kind of where I was going with that. So you've heard the rankings now. The golf, these three courses are all brilliant. They're all such good fun, and the fact that they are just the tee box is essentially a stone's throw from the hotel, which is all of these offerings, blah blah blah. So the golf's class. So let's get into it one by one. So Queen's first day. Thankfully, we had decent weather for October in Scotland. I think it was a bit windy that first morning as we teed off, but to be honest, we got pretty lucky.
Well, we didn't get wet.
No,
weekend.
Yeah, which is
in October,
the key. And we had
in Scotland.
I can't remember which day, but we had some sun as well. It was nice.
The sun came out all 3 days, just intermittent.
Yeah. It was.
put it this way, would have absolutely bitten your hand off for that weather in advance.
100%. Yeah, felt very lucky with the weather, I think. So getting into Queens. So Queens is probably the fiddliest from out of the three. Some kind of shorter holes, just some slightly quirkier ones. I loved it. I thought it was a really fun, just good, varied test of golf. And you'll be able to tell me what hole it is. What was the par 5? It felt quite early, which took us like right out to the edge of the property.
7.
So great par 5. I remember you in particular ripped one down there, and it kind of, as I said, it really takes you out into a green that kind of almost sits kind of on the top of what looks almost like a cliff edge. Like you kind of, and it really feels like you get to the edge of Gleneagles. So we get out there, and we're standing on the green. And I just go to Crowther. I'm like, what on earth is that?
Yeah, the ghost course.
The ghost course. I mean,
it's crazy, isn't it? You know, it's and I'm trying to remember back to what it was, but it was owned by.
So it was basically, and I love stuff like this. So you look out, and the best way to describe it is it looked like there was a half-built mosque.
Yes,
in the middle of the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what on earth is it? And so basically, I believe Saudis came in and basically bought up a whole bit of land, and they wanted to create a rival to Gleneagles, basically, you know, build a course that's kind of on merit, a whole facility, blah, blah, blah. And so they get kind of 3/4 of the way throwing this massive, whacking great clubhouse up, and they run out of money.
Could have been the Saudis then.
Well, yeah. I was thinking that. I was saying it. And so, from what I've read, they have a pristine 18-hole golf course.
You can see some of the holes,
which is maintained. So they have greenkeepers on it, and it is completely private, and essentially it is just used by the owners who fly in with friends, clients, whatever it might be. They play it, and then they go. And so, I mean, I literally was just like, how does that exist in today's world? And that would be, I mean, how epic would it be to play that golf course kind of in its state as it is now?
Yeah, it would be a real have you played
course,
isn't it? Especially if it had a good merch, which it obviously won't, but if it did, then that'd be a great thing to have. It was one of the more novel things to see looking out. You think you've seen a golf course is normal, but then, as you say, a really good description, it was like a small mosque.
Yeah.
But yeah, a great golf course, had lots of variation. It was, as you say, a lot more fiddly than the PGA Centenary, which was set up to be a Ryder Cup golf course. It's a big boy golf course.
Yep.
And the Kings, which in its very nature, Kings, Queens, back in the olden days when that's what it's going to be named after.
Yep.
It's going to be a bigger golf course. But in its own right, had some tough holes. You had stretches of shorter par 4s. I really liked the back-to-back par 3s on 13, 14. You had that short one down by the water, and then it switched and went up the hill to the massive 2-tier green before the short par 4.
Yeah.
Follower.
I like the finish. So was it par 3 17, which had that real slither of a? I thought that was smart.
About 220 yards as well. You can play it from multiple different tees, all over just gores and drops, and small green that feeds in from both sides.
Did it have? No, I'm getting. Yeah. No, I remember it now. Sorry, I was just starting to get confused with a different hole.
And then down the hill to finish.
And so, both Queens and Kings, maybe PGA, but they're basically a great par 5 finisher.
Yeah, the Queens is a par 4 finisher.
Was it a par 4?
5 is Centenary and Kings. It's a par 4 finisher that you kind of shoot out. You can see the clubhouse, and you shoot out and then down into a green that's next to the Kings green. The Kings is that big par 5 that comes back down.
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to think because basically I hold an absolute bomb.
Yeah,
on 18 Queens. Was I playing with you that day?
Yes.
and it was like a real money spinner. And it was like up the ledge, up, round, over, like no chance of going in, and just drained it.
Yeah.
And so what? That was for a 3 for a...
That was for a 3.
Oh.
Yes. It's par 4 finish. Good finish.
Yeah. It was a good hole.
Solid golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not a filler at all by any means.
No.
I mean, it's 77 UK Island. I personally have it lower than the PGA Centenary course. I know others don't.
Yes.
Factually, apparently it's not.
Well, let's put some course ratings down, then we can start comparing as we go. So what have you got for course and 3Ps?
Well, so 3Ps for all 3 have to be the same.
Yeah, and so we should probably actually backtrack and just talk about practice facilities to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got further down towards the actual first tee of the Ryder Cup is a pretty smart range that's got both grass and mat.
So that'd be my question. It'd be, does that go onto the grass in the summer? Because we were on mat in October. It was okay. Had to pay for range balls. Don't love that at somewhere like Gleneagles.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they should give them to you. I think the pyramid should be out, and that should how it should be. For what range balls cost, you're paying £2 for whatever. I mean, yeah, I get it. It'll probably add up over the year, but like, I really am quite passionate about, you need to make your range balls free if you think you want to be serious.
Yep.
So yeah, we're on the mats. Range is good though, full length range.
Good short game area.
Yeah, short game area, I think was just looking a little bit tired by maybe a full season kind of on it, but like it was a good complex.
Yeah, I think I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that we stood there in October.
Yeah,
the complex was great.
Yeah, so good practice facilities. I think at this point we'd had a meander around the pro shop.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a bigger putting green if we're talking practice facilities. Still, there was a small sort of rectangle with the sort of Gleneagles circle in the middle of it.
So we had the kind of flat one, didn't we, which was up towards the
actual clubhouse.
Yeah, and then there was the still not massive putting green, but it was quite big 2-tierer in by the range.
Yeah, but when we're talking putting comps, you're not going to walk down to that.
Yeah, that's
to
very
do
true.
It with your beers.
Yeah. So yeah, putting comp, putting green was
lacking.
Yeah, pretty average, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. When we think about, we've just rated turkeys.
I mean, not even in the same stratosphere of a carrier.
Exactly. I thought that the practice facilities are solid.
Yep.
Probably not as good as I'd expect for a Ryder Cup host venue, but solid. Pro shop had lots in it. I found it difficult to find anything I'd want to buy.
Yeah, it was, I think, depends when you catch it kind of thing. I think, they had a lot of RLX, they had lots of Glenmuir, I got myself a FootJoy gilet, like, as in, there was a lot of stash in there. And, having come out of Turkey and just being absolutely disgusted with the quality of the pro shop. I mean, Gleneagles is on the pro shop map at least. Been to better. Is it a logo that I was like pining after? No, to be honest, I probably only bought myself something just because I won quite a lot of money over the weekend.
Talking about the logo, I think it would have been a much better logo if it was just the eagle. It wasn't that circular eagle with Gleneagles all around it.
I don't mind it. It's again, like, coming from Turkey, we were getting onto a pro shop conversation again. Like it's good, it's solid. It probably, you've gone solid practice facilities, everything you need, not blowing you away. Same with the pro shop. Yeah,
and I'd probably say the same for the patio. If we're talking about the clubhouse patio, I can't even remember it, but again, we're in October, so it's not going to be set out. I liked the sports bar.
So I think, like you said, tough. We didn't really patio because we were straight inside. But I have to say, coming in off what was quite chilly. We're in woolly hats and stuff. Coming off and coming into the clubhouse. Really nice clubhouse,
Great clubhouse.
Really kind of warm environment, a couple of fires going. They had a haggis Scotch egg on the menu as kind of little, which was really nice. And so, to be honest, like if we're just talking, I know it's the P is the patio, but like I suppose if we migrate this patio inside just because of the weather and the time of year, going in and chopping a couple of beers and having a little bit to eat, sat on the sofas by the fire, chopping up the course. Like I really enjoyed sitting in that clubhouse.
Yeah, no, it's a fair response. And actually, when we think about it, the third evening, so the second night we'll come on to when we went to Andrew Fairley, but the third night we actually had booked the Italian. Ryan ended up going, but us two and Crowther, we stayed in. It was October last year. We had the Rugby World Cup on. Yep. And we watched the games. It was a quarter-final stage at the time. And we watched two games then, which it was a good enough environment for us to sack off one of the restaurants, essentially, and go into the clubhouse.
Yeah, and we had some burgers or hot dog sliders or whatever it was. And really nice, like perfectly good clubhouse. So I think we'll give a 3 Ps rating as in it will, because it will translate across to all 3 courses. Like I was in the region of a kind of between it's like a 4 probably. I'd just tip it over to a 4. Like nothing is bringing it up into the 4. It's nowhere near a 4.5 is what I'd say. No. It's probably closer to a 3.5. And if you went 3.5, I'd be like, I completely get that. But to be honest, full length range, which you're probably on the grass in the summer, short game area right next to it, a putting green which is okay, a pro shop which is solid. Like I think pro shops get a lot of people. You see a lot of people in Gleneagles merch, and I do think that says something. So I'm giving it a 4, and it's probably a slightly lenient 4, but I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, I'd probably be in a similar spot. If we did like 0.25, I'd do like a 3.75. So yeah, I'll round it to a 4, given the rest of the amenities are fantastic, and they do add to your experience, 100%. Which is what the 3 Ps are about. Yeah. So it's a good solid 4. Again, it's not into your hires, but yeah, it's into the 4. And so now onto the golf courses.
Yeah, so Queens, where are you? Or the Queens? Let's get a total number on Queens.
Queens, I'm going to go 4.
Nice.
But it's a low 4.
It's a fun 4.
It's a fun 4. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's I'm in Gleneagles. I'm having a great time. I played it nicely.
Yep.
It's a 4, scoreable 4. Do I think it could be a 3.5? Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give it a 4, and I'm going to enjoy the 4.
Exactly the same space. So 4 as well on the course, or an 8 for Queens. It's the kind of course where, like, if we think about Royal Mid-Surrey, you've got, like, JH Taylor, which is the championship course, the harder course, the one that you'd probably end up playing the most. The Queens is almost like Pam, which is our second course, which is a lot easier at RMS, is almost like Pam on absolute steroids in the sense that you'd probably spend your time playing Kings and PGA more, but it'd just be like the ultimate. Should we just have a nip round Queens today?
Yeah, if Pam was a power lifter, it'd be the Queens.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, exactly that. You're not going to get beat up.
No, and it was, I really liked Queens, and I've heard certain people say it's their favourite, and I can see why. Like, I wouldn't argue against it, but like a really good opening gambit, which, as I said, ended up in a nice little session in the clubhouse, and then we had our kind of main event from an evening perspective that evening.
We did. We met into the cocktail bar that's just by the entrance, really, of the big Gleneagles Hotel. And we were set up for Andrew Fairley, which, for me, having never been to a Michelin star restaurant, going into a two Michelin star just opening out was wonderful.
Yes. I can't say I've been to millions and millions in my lifetime, but I have done a 2 Michelin star before, and I've done a couple of single stars before. And was really excited about it. What was quite funny is, so we walk in, and it's obviously a real treat. Like, whoever you are, going to a restaurant like that is a real treat. And we walk in, and we're taken over to our table for 4, and we are placed right next to the couple who had a word with us the night before. And we all sit down and just look at each other, and we're just like, this is so funny, because you just know they're like, oh God, kind of thing. But we were very well behaved. And I mean, the experience was second to none. It is the best culinary experience I've ever had. And so I've been to the Ledbury in London, which is, again, like 2 Michelin star, great restaurant. But this was just fantastic. I thought the waiters, the sommelier, absolutely brilliant. And we had the whatever it is, the kind of 6, 7, 8 course set menu, And for me, there was a lobster dish that's on there, and they said it's their signature, and it's kind of been on the menu for 10, 15 years, whatever it is. And that single plate of food is the best plate of food I've ever had. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you've summed it up nicely there. There's not much to add. It's comfortably the best culinary experience I've had. For me, and we're talking about our experience here, it's a must-do. It's not cheap, but you can do it in a normal manner. It's not going to absolutely blow the budget out the water any more than the whole place is, to be really honest. It's a must-do. You have to go and book in advance, of course.
Yeah.
But you have to go to the Andrew Fairley. It's a no-brainer. It's a non-negotiable.
I agree. I mean, literally, I cannot think of one bad thing to say about it.
Nope.
It was absolutely fantastic. So we had a great night there.
We had a fantastic night. We were back into the breakfast buffet the next day.
Yep.
Those Bloody Mary stations.
Did you hit the Bloody Marys?
No, not once. They just really interested.
Yeah. I like that.
And then we were playing what I have to say I was particularly excited to play.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised it doesn't have a UK Island rank 51 in Scotland. You're wrong. The PGA Centenary course.
Yeah, so I don't really understand how these rankings work. They're obviously completely subjective. I know it's a slightly newer course, but then, Bandon is not that old and they've just flown into the top whatever. I think as a Ryder Cup that I watched virtually every minute of, it was quite exciting to play it. And the first tee shot I think is pretty smart. Like, you got a starter there. And yeah, we kind of trundled off. I have to say, I played pretty shocking round PGA, and it is, as you said earlier, like, it's a course quite clearly built for a Ryder Cup or pro tournament style.
It's big.
It's a big boy, and off the tee is not necessarily my strength. And so if you aren't able, with the tees we're playing off, to kind of get driver off and out well, which I know is kind of, a good part of your game, and you hit a long way, it was a bit of a grind in places. It's a big, long, kind of American style golf course, big bunkering, big carries, long holes.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say, the American style, because I completely agree. And we hummed them. 16.5, 11.5, I believe it was. Obviously did do a bit of research to remember that. I don't just sit here and remember 2014's Ryder Cup.
Well, you remember every golf hole you ever played, so, I mean, who knows, mate?
Yeah, but that shot Donaldson hit into 15.
So,
to end Keegan Bradley as well.
Yeah, so probably my favourite hole. One of the ones I actually played better than most, but I thought that was
better than most.
Yeah, better than most. That was fun. Like, because there's a real memory associated with that hole, and so to actually go and play that kind of properly, if you will, was good. But look, I thought, again, really good golf course, and so if it's right, I'm just going to fucking slap you with a score. Like, didn't play well, and I'm trying to kind of take that away from my kind of rating system, but I thought it was another 4. Like, I really couldn't tell you what's wrong with it. Like, it was big, strong, well-designed golf course, which I had some great memories because of obviously what we watched on TV.
Fair. I'm giving it a 4.5. I loved it. For me, it was number 1 at Gleneagles. I know that's really controversial.
Yeah, no, but I can see why.
I loved it. It suits my game.
Yeah.
I played it well. And I felt like I played it well because I knew it was a tough golf course. We had a good day. We took the money. I just loved it. I thought that the sort of variation of holes was great. The first is a tough hole, but then you've got quite a reachable par 5 second that requires a good tee shot. You go into that nice sweeping dogleg right third, hard par 4, and then the fifth that you can't see any fairway of, which is basically their signature hole.
Yeah.
And then with the water right. I just thought it was a really strong opening, and then again a really good finish with the 15th down the hill, 16 great par 5. 17 that downhill par 3, and then the iconic 18th par 5 back up the hill again.
Yeah, that finish was blowing as well. It was windy when we played it, and it was It was tough.
It was a long way. It was playing a good old way. You know, I'm happy to accept there's a couple of weaker holes. You know, I think the 14th is a pretty nothing hole, short par 4 up into the corner. If you've watched the Ryder Cup, you probably can't even remember it because it's a pretty nothing hole. I think 11 is a little bit of a nothing hole. You kind of pitch to the top and then just nobble it across the water. But a fantastic golf course, and I loved it. And Jack Nicklaus designed.
Yeah, and you know, I said it suited your game down to the ground. You did play lovely, and so I can see why you've given that a 4-5. And so 8-5 total is a pretty strong score. Yeah,
and I always think about what have I rated 4-5, and they're pretty much the big cheeses, the big chiefs, and I'm willing to put this in that category.
Yeah, nice. And I'd love to go back, and I'd love to play it again because just hacked it, to be honest.
Yeah. If we had a 2-5 rating, it might be like a 4-3, 4-4.
Yeah.
It's one of the lower 4-5s I've got, but we like to keep it in the nice solid 0.5 region, so that's where I'm going.
Perfect. Anything else on PGA?
No, nothing else. Just loved it. Really enjoyed it.
Perfect.
Great to play a Ryder Cup course that you've played.
Yeah.
And nice to tick off Ryder Cup courses. I've only got Valderrama now and Le Golf National that haven't played since 95 in Europe.
Good. Nice. Good effort. Yeah. And so then, I think as we mentioned, we watched some rugby just in the clubhouse that evening. Can't remember if it was on that day. We had a bit of a dip into the spa, which was good. It was nice, good facility.
Good robe.
Yeah, great robe. And then, peeled into final day. Kind of came around quite quickly.
Final day did come around. Still not a drop of rain.
Yeah.
Surprising. And we had the Kings, which is ranked the highest.
Yeah, and so kind of interesting. So I suppose clearly Josh really, really rated the PGA, and so he would have had that above Queens. I had Queens above PGA, and I think even if I play PGA well, I probably would have it that way around. Like, it just suits my game. Like, I prefer that kind of quirky, fiddly golf course more. And so, kind of peeled into Kings with it being the best ranked, and was very kind of interested to see what we thought, obviously, and really good first hole starter.
Beautiful first hole starter,
which we'd seen in the sun all week because it's like right next to the main clubhouse, and we were kind of almost licking our lips at it for the first couple of days.
It's like a landing strip as well, isn't it? That big fairway that then sort of sweeps up into the green on the top. And probably just a point to note, some great course architecture. So just for the fans out there that like that course architecture.
It's almost be a segment.
Yeah, exactly. So I mentioned Jack Nicklaus did the PGA Centenary course. So a fella called James Braid did both the Kings and the Queens. Actually affiliated with our very golf club, Royal Mid-Surrey, back in the day. A 5 times Open champion. Just wanted to also call out a couple of courses that he has also done. I looked down at my sheet on the corner. Formby and Carnoustie Championship. So, got a bit of architectural history there as well. Great player in his own right, and did a great job.
Do you know what? I'll add another legendary course to that list. He was the designer of Colchester Golf Club, which was my first ever golf club that I played at.
I actually did see that. I just ignored it.
Very good. So we headed off into Kings. What do I think about Kings? So Kings was good as a starting point, but quite a lot of blind tee shots, which I never love, to be honest.
Yeah, I was the same. That was actually going to be one of my opening sort of statements here. Lots of blind tee shots, and again, I'm very similar. Having not played it before, I like to know and be able to visualize where I'm going.
Yeah.
I think playing it again, it would rise in my thoughts because I know where I'm going from there. But I think first time round, yes, there's some tough tee shots where you could be going left or right or dead straight, and you really don't know. It is a great golf course, though. Yeah,
really good golf course. Kind of quite fun halfway hut little section, and then into the back nine. I said a couple of blind tee shots, played better, enjoyed it. Hold another absolute bomb on the last, which was quite funny. So I'm against Josh. I think we'd been together the first couple of days, and the finishing hole is a par 5, which basically has this kind of like mound ridge that if you're a bomber you get over. And Josh just sent this absolute seed over the hill, and you just knew you were going to go for this par 5, like comfy in 2. And so I try and rip a driver, and I just hit a kind of squirrely one that doesn't quite make the ridge, and kind of it's just like buried kind of into the face, into the rough on the left. So I have to just kind of hack out over the ridge, and I've then got a 6-iron in. So I just hit this 6-iron, good 6-iron, but to like 25 feet. I don't know. It was not close. And so Josh is just inside me, got a putt up, and I think that was going to halve the money, take the money. I don't know. It was like
we were 2 down, 2 to play, and we'd won 17. And I had 9-iron in.
Yeah.
Hit a big boy, had 9-iron in. I knocked it to probably like 20 feet.
Yeah.
I would have taken it.
Chilling, as in,
this is your story.
You'd have thought you'd have made a 4, and that was going to be job done. And just again, so on the 18th on Queens and the 18th on Kings, both times for like, I don't know, 30, 40 pound swings, just absolutely poured one in. And it paid for my gilet. I took 125 quid off you boys all weekend. Didn't even play that well. Just won every game.
Yeah, it's tough. You partnered well.
Yeah.
It was a tough loss, and one that I felt me and Crowther didn't deserve to lose. One down on the last, but we enjoyed it. We great day. So talking a little bit more about the course, rather, just bring the listeners into that. Lots of blind tee shots that I think if you played again you'd know, but a lot of really good golf holes, and again a strong finish. You've got the 14th, which is an iron par 4.
Great par 4 though.
Great par 4.
And we all hit brilliant tee shots as well. It was nice
for match play. A great hole. Twos are. I mean, I did make 2, but 2s are in play.
Mm-hmm.
As are 6s, 7s, because if you miss the spot, you're in the trees, it's dead.
Yeah.
Then you've got that lovely downhill par 4, 15th, which I think is a great camera shot.
And it was the par 3 over the water before getting to that par 4.
Yeah, so you've got the par 3 up the hill with a little bit of water, and then the dogleg left par 4 with the bank up on the side.
Yes.
So if you try and bite off too much, you're dead. You don't bite off enough, you're dead. And then that big par 5 to finish.
Yeah, that was a good finish, wasn't it? When I think it through like that. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. And so again, to be honest, I'm going to be really, really samey here. I've given it a 4 as well. I think so from that one experience of playing, blind tee shots were a bit annoying, but fine, not a massive issue. It was just a good solid 4 for me.
Yeah, nice. I've given it a 4 as well. Where Queens is probably a 3.75, 3.8.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kings is a 4.1, 4.2, but still drops it into the 4 category.
Yep.
Obviously, I've given the 4.35, 4.4 to a 4.5 in the
a lot of numbers there again, boy.
Lots of numbers. Nearly couldn't get them out. So it's a highly rated 4, and one that may creep into the next bracket if played again. I wouldn't say it's 38 UKI and then 77 UKI Kings Queens. No. Especially if Centenary is 51 Scotland, absolutely no chance in hell. But as a golfing location, 3 really, really strong courses.
Yeah, so what, you got an 8.5, an 8 and an 8.
Yeah.
And so you're going...
I'd go Kings above Queens, so I'd go PGA, Kings, Queens.
Yeah, what would I do? I'd definitely have PGA last, but real toss-up between Kings and Queens. Kings is probably the better golf course.
It is.
But did really enjoy Queens, and I feel like I'd really enjoy playing it again. And regularly, would happily go around Queens. But yeah, as you said, I mean, for me, 3 8s and just a really good time. As in going back to, Crowther saying Gleneagles is great, we should definitely do it. Gleneagles is a fantastic long weekend, which is basically all it was. I think we maybe 1 or 2 days, and the weekend, and just what a great little trip. So if you're in the UK or even planning from Europe, I mean, really would stick it on the roadmap
for sure. Yeah, it is a great trip. They know what they're catering for. They do it really well. Would recommend.
Yeah, and so we got back, and so I had a course guide of each of the courses, and then you get to keep the menu that they give you from Andrew Farley. They also give you a map, which is like an illustrated map of the grounds, a couple other bits and pieces that I forget, and so I put them together basically in a frame photos to kind of remember the weekend, and it's just lots of nice little dropped in touches which do make it memorable. And yeah, keen to go back.
Absolutely.
Lots to tick off, but like if someone goes to me, hey, should we do a Gleneagles? I would be like, absolutely.
Yeah, certainly keen to tick off. Having done, as we said, Brabazon, no, Celtic Manor I enjoyed, but again, it's completely different level. There's tiers.
Done K Club?
No, that for me would be the next one I would like to do before going to. Sorry, I said Golf National and the K Club and Valderrama. They're the three I've not.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Backtrack from the earlier statement in the podcast. But we ramble on.
We do ramble on. So I think that's about it, to be honest. And anything else on Gleneagles?
No, as we said, great experience. Would recommend as a golfing experience as opposed to a golfing course.
Yeah.
But definitely worth a trip.
Yeah, like it. So cool. Into the Ryder Cup for us. We got our heads down. Get our games in good order for next week, and by the time we sit down again, we'll either be very happy men or very sad.
We will indeed. The cadence has been much better. Here we are again doing another one, so we'll keep that cadence up. As you say, it's all on the Ryder Cup now as to whether the next pod will be a damp squib,
happy
or
or
whether
sad.
we'll be in good spirits.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Full Program Golf, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Everyone knows the drill.
Subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe.
You like that one, don't you?
Yeah, that sticks with me well.
All right, boy. Until next time. Love ya.
Love you. Speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.